everybody. Welcome to Super Marvel Brothers.
The only Marvel recap podcast to get you ready for the greatest event in cinematic history, Marvel Infinity War.
Yeah, I'm Connor.
I'm Brendon.
And this week we watched Ant-Man.
Yeah, we're getting close to the end here. Only a few left.
We got, 4 more movies?
I think that sounds right after this. Yeah, 4 more, I think. Ant-Man 2015, directed by Peyton Reed. This was always an interesting one. This had actually been planned for a long time under Edgar Wright, who's famous for Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz.
Right.
But apparently...
The Cornetto trilogy.
Yes. He was going to make this movie, but he was going to do a super dark version of this. And Marvel okayed it because, like, back in the day, because, like, well, we're never going to really do anything with Marvel. And then, like, all that other stuff happened. And they said, you can't do this super dark one anymore. So I thought it was kind of interesting. Came out in 2015, as I said. Did very well at the box office. Ended up making about $250 million, $500 million worldwide. I'm sorry. Did okay.
Yeah, only okay.
Did you see this in theaters?
I think I did.
I know I did. After the first Avengers, I've seen every single one in theaters.
Can't say that.
Yeah, well. So yeah, you ready to get into it?
Yeah, I think this will be a short one. It's not a long movie, so.
Some would say it's going to be a little small podcast tonight.
It's funny because he shrank.
I do want to say they were very creative with the marketing of this movie when it first came out. I remember the first time was the Ant-Size trilogy, or Ant-Size trailer, where it was the whole trailer, but it was only like 3 pixels on your screen. That was really they were really creative with that. Let's get into it. We start actually in 1989.
Yeah, with a really well de-aged, I forget the guy's name.
Hank Pym?
Hank Pym. I was trying to think of the actor's name.
Oh, Michael Douglas?
Yeah.
Michael Douglas, yeah. So we start in 1989 at the S.H.I.E.L.D. facility, where we get some throwbacks there. We got Peggy Carter there, and we've got Howard Stark there.
However old Peggy was, she was looking good.
Oh.
I'm just saying, what year was it?
89?
89?
So she's
like 70?
Yeah, she looked pretty good for a 70-year-old, I guess.
Like, she didn't even go full gray yet.
Hey, man.
I mean, she might have been
Super
60.
Soldier serum.
She might have been 60. Let's assume she was like 20-something.
In the 40s?
Yeah, and then it's this...
45? Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah, but it's like a late... It's late
60s.
It's a late 60s. And we get Howard Stark, too. And we get this kind of argument of our magical element here.
Oh, man.
Pym particles!
The greatest excuse ever. Just
What's a greater excuse, Pym particles or Odin magic?
Oh, Pym particles, because it's just like, no one... Like, even Neil deGrasse Tyson watching this was like, I don't know enough about that to argue it.
I love when you think about DC, they always say Speed Force.
Right.
This is the Marvel Speed Force, Pym particles.
Yes, absolutely.
And they're arguing about the safety of this and how Pym's got to give it up to S.H.I.E.L.D. because of the threat it could cause.
Right. Which
he refuses. Yeah. He actually smashes some random dude's face onto a table, which is really funny.
Mm-hmm. It's pretty good because Howard Stark does nothing about it. He's just like, "You're just going to let him do that?" He's like, "You said it."
Yeah.
By the way, I just want to bring this up. I know it's a little past the point. Howard Stark looking way worse than Peggy.
Yeah, he did not age well.
No.
Well,
which scares me.
According to the internet, it's because he used all his power on the Soul Stone to create Tony, because that's a thing people believe.
Let's not address that theory. I like the Soul Stone being in Wakanda. I like that theory.
I don't think that's happening either.
Why are they in Wakanda? And look, we're not discussing the Infinity War trailer.
We do need to get that out there.
Yeah, we do.
Anyway, so we cut back then to present day.
Yeah. To
a little Scott Lang getting the crap kicked out of him in prison.
Which is pretty good. He gets punched pretty hard, and then...
By Peaches, this
large man. And then he kind of like sucker punches him, and then they're like, "Oh, so we're seeing you go." And he's like, "You guys have the weirdest goodbye rituals."
And he's not wrong.
No. He then leaves the prison to go meet his old cellmate,
Luis.
Who is this plays into our theory later, the only one to knock out Peaches.
Yeah. He says he didn't, or does he say he did?
No. He says, I'm one of the only people to ever knock him out.
Oh yeah.
And
that's
Scott says, like, "Oh, I certainly didn't."
Yeah, Luis is a scene stealer in this movie. John Pena does a fantastic job and I'm gonna make the petition now, even though the movie's already made and is like making tours around the world. Luis needs to be the one to defeat Thanos.
He just comes in last second,
like
punches him,
everyone
knocks
is incapacitated. He's about to destroy
the world. He needs
the
to
world.
be our Squirrel Girl.
He's like, yo, man, here we go, and then boom. But like the first scene you meet is like, well, how's everything going? He's like, my girlfriend broke up with me. My mom died. My dad's deported, but I got the van.
Yeah.
So,
he's very happy-go-lucky.
It's really good. We then get a little backstory on Scott Lang that he is a computer scientist, basically, or electrician,
electronic engineer.
Yeah,
he has a master's in that.
He knows how things work,
and that he essentially like pulled some major crime to put him in jail for that, and they say like, oh, it's hard to get a job when you have a record, and he's like, well, I got a master's in electronic engineering. I think I won't have trouble. Fast forward, jump cut, he's working at Baskin Robbins.
The best product placement used in the MCU by far.
Absolutely.
He's working at Baskin Robbins. This guy's trying to order a pretzel. And he eventually goes back to the manager who says, like, this is so cool. You like leaked all this money. People are like being...
Yeah, you stuck it to like the billionaires.
And he's like, I'm just really thankful for this job. He's like, oh, you're fired.
Yeah.
But what does he get?
He's like, you want to take one of those mango fruit blasts on the way out? I'll pretend I didn't see anything.
Product placement. I know it's product placement.
And here's the thing. Here's what had to happen, right? Marvel was looking for it or something, and they were like, Baskin Robbins came in and was like, oh my god, which maybe it's just our area. We have maybe one or two Baskin Robbins.
We have one that I can think of, and it's not in a convenient area.
No, and so maybe it's just our area is not big around here, but like, it seems like it's such a small thing, and that I feel like Baskin Robbins much more was like, oh, we'll fill that, and like Marvel's like, what are you gonna offer? He's like, you can say whatever you want.
You can badmouth us.
Like you can do whatever you want. And so the joke is when Scott gets back to his apartment filled with Louise, filled with other criminals, he's just like, yeah, Baskin Robbins found out, and the one other guy's just like,
always finds out.
Baskin Robbins always finds out, man.
We do meet the rest of the team while they're there, and we find out Luis's love of waffles.
Yeah, dude, that guy whips waffles up like...
He's making waffles for half the movie.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a waffle machine.
He's a waffle machine. Let's talk a little bit. We go to Pym Tech, which you had some issues with this.
So, like, the scene where Hank pulls up to the building, the logo on that building looks so fake. And like, we've learned that inanimate objects are the best thing to CG in Marvel, apparently.
Well, it's the best thing CG in general.
In general. I don't know how they made that look fake.
There are some issues with CG. You gotta understand, this is an ambitious movie with the CG they need to tell the story.
I don't think it was a big budget.
I can look that up quick.
It certainly wasn't like a Captain America or an Iron Man budget.
It has $130 million. That's a decent amount of money. I mean, it's not like... I mean, the Avengers are apparently like $1 billion budget.
How much was Deadpool off of?
Deadpool, I would have to look it up. I don't know. Tell me. I think it was like 50, 70 maybe. So about half this. But I think, there are some scenes that are done really well, and I think for the most part the CGI is okay. But there is some, it's the little things again. It's kind of like the Black Panther issue we had. Because I think of like the model they have of when they have cross tech.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't look very good.
Yeah,
the scene with the buildings blowing up, the spoilers at the end of the movie, kind of meh. But
yeah,
there are some issues with that. We meet Cross for the first time, who is Jeff Bridges' Ironmonger, basically,
but younger and somehow more sociopathic. Like,
oh, he's like it crazy.
Yeah, this guy's got issues, and they say it's like, oh, it's the particles affecting his brain chemistry. No, I think this guy was messed up to begin with.
Yeah, I don't think he was all that there to begin with.
Yeah.
We go to the model where he already has cross tech on the model of the building.
Yeah, and he shows Hank that, and he goes and he pretty much says, like, yeah, I dug through your files and found this whole, like, Ant-Man thing. And he has, like, old footage of, like, essentially Hank Pym as Ant-Man breaking into this.
Which I guess would make him the second superhero?
Yes.
Behind Cap?
Yes.
That we know of?
That we know of. I was going to say potentially Marvel, but...
Actually, they're leaning that that's going to take place in the 90s.
Then yes.
Captain Marvel, which we're going to take a sidebar here. Ronan has been recast in that movie.
Ronan the Destroyer?
The Accuser.
Well, whatever. He had a hammer. He destroyed
Yeah,
things.
that actor has been recast
Yeah,
for that
Ronan
movie.
has something to do with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting. They're going to bring him back.
Not as the same guy. Well, I guess a younger Ronan.
Yeah, younger Ronan. I might have to retroactively...
It's going to be... That's the Ronan Hawkeye is. It's been a mess up the whole time.
Oh my...
Jeremy Renner was like, I need more of that Marvel money.
Ladies and gentlemen, I do not know how to respond to this. This is actually blowing my mind. Alright, we're going to move on from this. We get the video footage of the Yellow Jacket suit.
Yeah.
And how all the applications it could use. It's a spy suit. It's a...
It's essentially a war machine.
It is... Okay, so this is basically if I took the first Iron Man and the second Captain America and just squished it together.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
This is what this movie
is.
is.
And then added some, like, Ocean's 11.
A little bit. Yeah, a little bit. And a little more comedy, I think, is in here. But the plot is basically like, we're going to sell this to every army in the world, and they're going to have all these things. It's going to be great. Which Pym honestly says, like, this is a terrible idea. We also, in these series of scenes, meet Hope.
Yes. Who is Hank's daughter.
Who's Hank's daughter and also dating Cross.
Are they dating?
Alright, so
It's heavily alluded.
They are together in some way, shape,
like, they work closely together, and it seems like they have, like, they hang out in their personal time, too.
I think it's more that he thinks they're dating, but she's just doing it.
Oh yeah, no, she's collecting that info.
Yeah, I think it's a one-way street there.
Right. So, what if that was the big twist? That like the whole time he was gay. Cross. Like it was like, oh my god, I've been like dating you for. He's like dating. Oh, Hope. No, I'm not into that.
Only if Luis was in the room, like. Yo, man, what?
Yeah, what?
Yeah, that's
like,
crazy.
Like, yeah, that'd be a twist, and you would never suspect it. Anyway, so essentially, Cross is like, hey, this is my like mass destruction weapon, that we want swarms of them.
Yeah, it's a little bit terrifying the way he's saying to
yeah.
use it. How it could just like assassinate people wherever they want. I mean, it is the plot of Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
We cut back to Scott, and he's visiting his little daughter.
Yeah, a little Iron Man 2 more, Cap 2.
Oh, did I say Iron Man 2?
You said Iron Man 2.
Oh, I meant Cap 2.
Yeah, he's visiting his daughter at her birthday party, which, God, they cast like the cutest kid for this. Oh my god, like the 2 front teeth are missing and everything, and it's like, ugh!
She plays the role well. Like when Lang gives her the gift, he's like, "It's disgusting. I love it."
Yeah.
Like it's perfect.
Yeah.
We meet Paxton.
Oh my god. So it's like they couldn't get the actor who played Raymond's brother from Everyone Loves Raymond. Which, what is he doing?
I don't know. Is he might be doing stand up? Maybe
I can see it, but like they got the next best thing.
It's like there was a lot of. We said this several times in the movie. This movie made me think of a lot of things from the 90s I have not thought of in a very long time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So the first thing was Everyone Loves Raymond. Just the way this guy looks and how he's acting. Like, not even how he's acting, I guess, but like he's a police officer.
He's a cop too?
Yeah.
Maybe he got gored by a bullet at some point?
Maybe, was it Frank? Is just going, holy crap, in his house across the street the entire time?
Rest in peace.
Yeah, R.I.P. It was a Hank Boyle? Is that what it is?
I couldn't tell you. Young Frankenstein, though.
Young Frankenstein. Yep, you're right. We find out a little more backstory about Scott. They got broken up. He wants custody. He doesn't have custody because he can't afford child support.
He wants at least visiting rights.
Yeah, visiting rights. But he can't pay child support because he can't get a job because he's a convict. And I said this is a little bit of a social commentary Marvel's doing here. The hard life of an ex-con trying to get a job together.
Absolutely.
So, out of desperation now, Scott goes to Luis and says, "What's this tip you got?"
Which, this is the best gimmick in the movie. Is Luis going through the word of mouth he got, and it always starts at a very classy event.
So I'm gonna stop you here. This is what Avengers 4 is actually gonna be.
The whole movie's gonna be
2 hours of him actually explaining,
and then it ends, and he's like, And that's how I save the world.
Yeah, and it's just like everyone's like beat up, just like at a shawarma place.
Yeah,
just like bring it all back together.
The shawarma place is now like a shawarma mega mart because they're like we serve the Avengers.
He's just like, that's how I did it. And everyone's just like eating shawarma, not listening.
Yeah,
that's how that movie's gonna be. It's basically gonna be a better version of Iron Man 3.
Ant-Man's just like, yeah, buddy, good job.
Anyway, you can go storytelling.
So he goes on about he was at a wine tasting with his cousin, or his friend or something, who
knows a cleaning lady,
who knows a cleaning lady they used to roll with back in the day. Happened to be the first girl he got with, I guess.
You know someone who
knows a shot collar across across the bay
in Oakland, where Black Panther is.
Yeah, true. He had the tattoo on his lip. So he knew a shot caller from across the bay, and his friend happened to be on the same baseball team as the shot caller. Softball team, I'm sorry. Who told him of the cleaning lady who knew there was a safe in an old guy's house who was away for a week, and it got back to Louise.
Yeah, I think he hit it all there.
Yeah.
And he's like, English, old man, safe. Got it.
Yeah. So Louise, Dave, I think his name was.
I don't know. It's T.I.'s in there. And...
Yeah. And then what's his name? Clark? You're Russian boy.
We're in like Flynn.
Yeah.
That's the line I remember from this movie. We're in like Flynn.
Yeah. They all essentially get ready for this heist on this old guy's house. And you got Dave, we're gonna call him, is the getaway driver. I don't know what Luis is doing.
Luis is just there, man. He's just living life.
And then Clark is the...
Actually, Dave is T.I. and then Kurt.
Kurt
is the Russian Eastern European guy.
Kurt is the tech guy, I guess.
Tech guy, so he kind of cuts the alarm.
And
Dave's the getaway.
Scott Lang is the feet on the ground.
The cat burglar.
Yeah.
And you kind of see he's done this before, the way he gets around. He runs into some roadblocks in there. There's a thumbprint access at first, and he very quickly finds ways to solve that.
Which we figured out since it was all set up by Hank Pym. That spoiler alert. That Hank left those materials there.
Everything I think was planted in the hopes that he would find it.
Is insane.
Yeah, it's insane that he thought that far ahead.
Yeah.
But he breaks through the thumbprint, and then he gets to the safe, and he realizes it's this like 1800s, 1900s
It's made out of the same
safe.
Steel that the Titanic was made out of.
So very quickly he realizes that he can freeze it and break all the mechanics inside.
Which the one question was like, okay, a safe drill I get. They knew there was a safe, right? He found the water down there, right, to freeze it.
Mm-hmm.
Why did he have a canister of liquid nitrogen?
My only answer is that's just what you would use on safes generally, and he just knew how to use it properly at this safe.
I guess.
Pin particles.
Oh, you got me. That makes sense.
It's actually the entire canister is full of pin particles.
And they just shrunk it real quick.
Yeah, it shrunk
until it
just
out.
Loosened everything up. It shoots all the bolts out.
Yeah.
Goes in, and all that's in there are some vials of pin particles.
Yeah,
and
lots of vials of pin particles.
A lot of old vials. Like, does that stuff expire?
I don't know. I don't know if particles expire. And then
do you think he just sniffs like, this turned? He just pours it down the drain.
But there's a little bit at the like bottom that was good there. So like something you're doing with like a giant like bolt on the ground.
Yeah, that's what I think happened.
So he finds the Ant-Man suit and he's like, oh, there's nothing but a suit in here. So he takes the suit. I want to say something. This beginning sets Scott up to be this, like, awesome, like, super skilled guy. That goes out the window real quick.
Yeah, but I think he's also out of his element a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
I think it's a little different. We cut back to Cross Tech. It's not Cross Tech yet, but Cross.
Yeah.
Who's experimenting. He can shrink inanimate objects, but he cannot shrink organic tissue.
Right.
We actually saw earlier some guy that crossed him. He tried to shrink and turned him into goop.
Human smoothie.
I think it was more like human pudding. It was like gelatinous.
It was gelatinous. Human jello.
So they're still working on this, and he brings out a little sheep.
Yeah, and this is where Hope's even like, aren't we working with mice? He's like, I gotta do it.
He says, what's the difference between a mouse and a sheep?
A lamb.
Lamb,
really.
yeah, lamb. And this is where we quoted that PETA must hate this movie.
Yeah, this is Peter's least favorite Marvel movie.
So he tries to shrink the lamb, it turns into the human pudding. Or lamb pudding. What's that? Mint jelly? That you put on lamb? And this is the point when my next 90s reference, I kept thinking that he actually tried to bring it back. Like, he actually shrank the lamb at first, then brought it back, and it turns into this giant mess. Like from Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, I like that your brain, like, mixed those scenes together. It was like, yeah, he tries to bring it back, and then it turns into a gelatinous mess. And then Tim Allen shows up.
Yeah, I even said, Tim Allen makes an appearance in Ant-Man. So, but yeah, you gotta get that another twist in it, and where he says, just sterilize and bring another one, it's whatever. I mean, there's just not enough story, I think, given to Cross here.
No, he's very much just like, he's a crazy guy. And he's evil.
He was Pym's old prodigy who just wanted more and couldn't do it. Again, it's explained, but there's just not enough development that you want to see in a villain.
Yeah, so it suffers from Iron Man 1 issues.
Yeah, it suffers from Iron Man, which is a shame because I think the yellow jacket suit that we see is
so cool.
Really cool, and it's almost like, well, maybe they can like get a prototype and give it to a better person.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're jumping around a little bit.
So, where are we after that?
We're in the apartment.
Back in the apartment, he's in the bathroom. He's like, look, might as well see what the suit is. So he tries it on. He's looking at himself in the mirror. He looks at the hands. And you notice there are like buttons on the space between your index finger and your thumb. You know, there's buttons there. He's just like, oh, what's these do? And then he clicks one. And he shrinks down. And then there's speakers in there, and you can hear Hank Pym going like, oh, you put the suit on, blah blah blah.
Yeah, so Hank has been watching him for a long time, which we even talked about later. They show the plan of him getting it, and he actually planted this lead to rob the house. And I said, there are way too many steps for Hank Pym to rely on this.
Absolutely.
But yeah, now Hank is kind of talking him through like what he's experiencing. He's the size of an ant. Luis comes in looking for him, turns the water on. You get the flood of it there. You get Luis taking his pants off and throwing it at him. And he goes down to the crack to the room below.
Which is a rave? Which is happening during the day?
It's like 2 p.m. and
there's a rave. I mean, maybe the rave's still going.
Party don't stop.
Party don't stop.
I do like when he lands on the record and it hits he hits the needle and it skips and everyone's like, ah!
Oh yeah, and then it drops.
There's some really cool shots and effects here.
Oh yeah, no, they were really creative with how they shot this. Well, how they...
Although you did have a little bit of a physics issue.
Oh, well, yeah. So the way that Pym particles work is that they essentially change the density of the object, right?
So I actually looked up the formula
we
for density, and it's mass times volume.
Right.
So essentially the mass is staying the same, but the volume is decreasing.
Right.
Which is increasing the
denser
density.
Object.
Yes.
So they do this when he lands on the bathroom tile, the tile cracks. Every other time that doesn't happen, I'm like, this dude should weigh like the same amount, right?
He's like a solid like 200 pounds.
200 pounds, but in like
a dime.
Yeah, like 2 centimeters. Like,
so yeah, and you even point out when he's punching people, that's
oh no, that's like a knife. That's not that's not blunt force. That's a knife.
Maybe he's pulling his punches. Just,
That's still a knife. Anything that small is puncturing.
So we get to see him in the suit. You kind of talk about how it's like thrown out the window. Again, if you got shrunk that big for the first time, I mean...
I guess. So he goes down through the floorboards, gets sucked up into a vacuum, gets spit out, escapes a mouse, gets flung out the window, lands on a car, and then grows back to normal size.
Yep. That about does it.
Yeah, and so he's like freaked out. Rightfully so.
He tries to return. He's going to burglar the suit back into the house.
Unburgle the suit.
Unburgle the suit. But Hope has called the cops.
Right.
Because Hope does not trust him.
Right.
So he's in the police station where Hank is actually acting as his lawyer.
Right.
And Hank uses the ants to block the cameras and says, here's your two options. You can either go to prison or go back to your cell.
Right.
The ants bring the suit to him. He has 10 seconds, which you said...
No way you get in a onesie suit, gloves, and helmet in under... He did it in, like...
4 seconds.
4 seconds.
He suits up in 4 seconds.
Like, that... He's a speedster. Like, there's no way he's not.
Maybe Pym particles are Speed Force.
Oh, no. No, no, no!
Maybe Quicksilver's not dead.
No, he's dead.
Can
Can confirm.
confirm.
So then he shrinks out of the cell. Right as the guy is about to see him. Shrinks out of the cell, leaves under the door, is confronted by ants, and then meets ant number 247?
248?
247.
Okay, 247. Oh, no, he says maybe it's 248.
Yeah, he says maybe it's 248. It was a flying ant.
A carpenter ant.
A carpenter ant. And
we learned a lot about ants in this
we did.
movie.
This is a great ant documentary. Who flies him back to Hank Pym's house.
Yeah, so he actually passes out escaping, but he wakes up in Hank Pym's house with Hope staring at him as he wakes up.
Oh, yeah.
Terrifying.
Max creepy.
Very creepy. He is surrounded by bullet ants.
Yeah, covered on the floor.
And they say if you step anywhere we don't want you to step, they will attack you.
Right.
Which, right before we recorded this, we did watch a video of a man getting stung by a bullet ant. And that was hard.
Oh, yeah.
That was hard to watch.
Oh, yeah, dude. It's nasty. They're like #1 pain index.
I always thought it was like the Portuguese man of war.
I think it stings. I think that's different. I don't know why, but I think it is.
I'll have to investigate that later.
That might be deadliest.
If you know the most poisonous sting...
Man of War might be deadliest.
Maybe that's it.
But I think the carpenter ant, the bullet ant is painful.
I hope not. I used to have an ant farm carpenter.
Oh, yeah,
ants.
you were playing with napalm. So that's... Scott kind of gets the breakdown on, like, why they need him. Mm-hmm. And Hank explains, like, yeah, we gotta break in here and, like, stop Cross.
He also kind of explains how he can communicate with ants using his, like, earpiece, which looks like a hearing aid, which for him is perfect because...
Yeah, no one would think.
No one's gonna expect Michael Douglas with a hearing aid.
Yeah. So, that kind of starts the training montage.
A little bit. Actually... Yeah, I'm sorry, that does. I'm looking at our notes. That basically is going to start the training montage where he learns the suit to communicate with ants, all those things, which is, it's a montage, it's whatever. He
kind of, learns how to fight, learns how to quick switch, going through, like, a keyhole, has kind of a heart-to-heart with Hope.
Oh, one more thing. While this is happening, I guess during the montage, we do get... what the plan is and what Cross... He tells Scott what Cross is going to do. And Scott's first action is, we should call the Avengers. And now we get some connection here. We get the connection that I've been trying to hide this for S.H.I.E.L.D. for years. Mm-hmm. The Avengers are too busy dropping cities on people, which, from the last movie, is what happened.
Now we know how Hank Pym feels about that.
And also, my favorite is, this isn't some gimmicky suit like Iron Man.
Yeah, oh yeah. He says, like, cute technology.
Cute technology, yeah. This is, so he's just throwing some shade at Tony.
Well, to be fair, Tony made a metal suit. He made a particle that can shrink things.
But the tank missile.
But imagine a tank missile that's smaller.
Ooh, wait, isn't that what he did in that Avengers where he shoots everyone and the guy's like, no, it wasn't?
Yeah.
Imagine that, but smaller. So I just want to say we're going to get those, references to the MCU as a whole. We then get the backstory of what happened to Hank's wife.
Right. She essentially, like, they were trying to take out a missile, but it was titanium, and I'm sure they explained why titanium's an issue.
It was too hard for them to cut through. It's too strong.
Right. So they had to go through they had to go subatomic, which is when you start going subatomic, you, like, can't undo it, I guess.
You have to destroy your safety. What's it called? Regulator. You have to destroy your regulator to do it, and then basically there's no going back from it. So she shrinks between the molecules of titanium to get to
to get inside and break everything.
Which I said the question, how do you break things when you're below subatomic? Like, how do you cut a wire when you're smaller than some pin particles?
Pin particles.
Okay, we're just going to use pin particles on this. So we get that, which Hope had not heard that story.
Right. She was always told that her mom died in a plane crash.
Yeah, and Hank explains he was trying to protect her. And...
Yeah, and he spent the next, 10 years trying to figure out how to, more about the quantum realm, as he calls it.
Quantum realm. Which I think we could see maybe some Doctor Strange meet up
there.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, when we see the quantum realm, it's very Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is a little weird. Like, as an adult, you think, he could just say, listen, this is what happened, and, your mom's a hero.
Right.
I don't know why you keep that lie going.
I don't know. Maybe so she wouldn't follow in her footsteps.
Maybe, but we know from the stinger that's not what happens, and from the trailers of the new one, that's not what happens.
Hey, I just got it. This one's funny because it has a stinger. Ow! You threw a clothes hanger at me.
Yes, for those of you not watching at home, which is everyone. I am throwing clothes hangers at him right now.
So that's kind of a nice moment. Scott has his confrontation with Brooke where he's like, yeah, the only reason I'm here is because I'm expendable. He doesn't want to risk you.
And that's when he finally makes the breakthrough in how to control ants.
Yeah.
But there's one thing they're missing, Connor. They need a piece of tech before this heist can
go down. Of course.
And
it's easy. It's just in an old Stark warehouse in upstate New York.
Yeah, they said it hasn't been used in years. Nothing's there. So we're going to drop you on a plane with the ants. You're going to go swoop in, get it, get out. Yeah.
Easy practice.
But as he's dropping, what does he see on that Stark warehouse?
Well, usually Stark warehouses have Stark on the top. Everyone knows this. This one kind of had just the A with the arrow and the circle.
And there's another connection. At the end of Avengers 2, it was moved from Stark Tower to upstate New York.
Yeah, so he's dropping in on the Avengers base.
So, first, Hank says, abort, get out of here. You can't handle this, you can't handle this. He says, nah, I got this. There's no one at home. But
who's there but the Falcon?
It's the Falcon. Which, Paul Rudd delivering that line, I don't know why it was so funny.
It's the emphasis on it. It's just, the Falcon.
The Falcon. Literally, for the rest of the movie, we were dying at that line.
Yeah.
So, Falcon is there. And he sees...
he's I guess his goggles are, super advanced or whatever, and he's just Hank's you gotta get out of there. He's like, no, it's no problem. He can't see me. And then Falcon just goes, I can see you.
And... Scott just goes up and is like, hi, I'm Scott.
Yeah.
And then I was like, did you just say your name?
Yeah.
And he tries to explain, I need this tech. And they try to... Falcon tries to arrest him, and then we get into this fight scene, which is... You finally... Just the way they use the shrinking, growing fight in a choreography is really... It's really unique. It's really well done. Mm-hmm. He eventually beats Falcon. Like I said, I'm not going to try and describe action scenes for you too much, because go watch it. But I just really love how... He's using, it's almost like a mixed martial arts, so he shrinks to get out of a punch to grow and hit him again.
Yeah.
It's really well done. He disables all of Falcon's tech, which leads to the very funny line of Falcon saying, it is very important that Cap never finds out about this.
So, Scott is in the middle of getting chewed out by Hank when he pulls out the piece of tech they needed, because he stole it in the meantime.
Yeah, he steals it and he says, okay, it's well done. And who's in the house but Cross, who just walks into his
more sociopathic tendencies. This guy's just oh, door's unlocked. That means I'm allowed in.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in years until this week, and now I can just walk into your house.
Oh my gosh, what a creep.
So, yeah, it's just a very creepy scene between him and Hank. And right after Cross calls Hope, saying, I want triple security, I want steel mesh on every air duct, nothing's getting into this building for the reveal or the sale. So, Connor, what's the solution to this?
Well, we need more hands in the dough, You need more
cooks in the kitchen?
More cooks in the kitchen.
You gotta avoid having too many cooks,
though. Too many cooks.
So they say you need a tech guy.
You need a tech guy, you need a getaway driver.
You need an inside man.
Yeah. So they get...
The 3 wombats.
Yeah. Hank's literally no, not those 3 wombats.
So they bring in the crew. They explain the plan. They show them the suits. There's some funny scenes with that.
Yeah.
So now we're going into Pym Tech.
Yes.
Luis is the inside guy. He's got a badge.
He's got a badge. He gets to dress up.
He's gonna whistle.
Yeah, he's like, oh, I'm gonna whistle to blend in. It's
When he's whistling. It's a small world, which obviously is.
And this is where we kind of see Luis's potential superpower.
So there's a crazy theory in the MCU. Luis is actually One Punch Man.
And we don't mean the bald, yellow-wearing superhero.
Well,
who like decimates everything with one punch. But this
as
guy,
someone who hasn't seen that,
oh, you should watch it. It's really funny. He just is able to knock everyone out in one punch.
he is not. Everyone he hits on screen is knocked out in one punch.
And apparently, so was someone off screen.
So is someone off screen. So he's just going through. He's not gonna be. We actually are making jokes like, what if he just raged through the entire facility, just punching everyone out?
Mini Hulk.
He's stronger than the Hulk.
Could he knock the Hulk out?
Could he knock Thor out?
Ooh, could he knock Thor out?
Hulk can't knock Thor out.
Hulk. It's true. Could he knock Thor out?
Anyway, so we get this heist scene, and this was a nice change of pace with the MCU. You usually get a lot of big action, dramatic scenes here. This is kind of like a robbery heist film where you have him like working the plan. You see all these things working with little tiny ants.
Yeah, they like lower. He essentially breaks in through a water main using the ants as a raft. They use them to get into the bathroom and stuff like that. And it's really cool.
Yeah, and like you said, it's a heist film. You know, you're not going. This isn't gonna change. It's not.
This isn't guns a-blazing.
Guns a-blazing. We're not blowing things up. We're not using tank missiles. And also, it's not. I mean, it's a big issue, but it's not necessarily like, if I do not do this, the world is going to end today.
Yeah, it's just put in a bad situation.
So it's a little more low scale, which is kind of what Marvel needed to do when you literally have gone from dropping a city on the world to this is a really nice change.
Essentially an arms deal, really.
Yeah, really. We also found out the people buying the suit is Hydra.
Right.
So, because, you know, they're still around because...
Well, cut off one head. 2 more come out. Yeah, Hydra. So, Hank gets locked in a room, the vault, quote unquote, with Hope, pardon me, Hope, Cross, the guys from Hydra,
the Yellow Jacket suit.
And the Yellow Jacket suit.
And this is right as Scott's coming down. They had to disable... I guess we need to talk about the police subplot to this.
Oh, yeah. So essentially they noticed that they're undercover cops, which includes Paxton.
Because Paxton realized that Pym was the lawyer for Lang.
And so the guys in the van kind of wreck their car. And then the guys in the cop car come for them.
As they're trying to disable the lasers in the most dramatic moment in the movie.
Right, Scott's about to hit those laser grid and die, and then they disable it, so...
And it looks like he's going to get the suit, but as he's grabbing the suit, it drops down.
And he's trapped in the vault, and kind of just gets to sit there and watch David almost shoot... he does shoot Hank.
Yeah, we get a little standoff between Hope, the Hydra villains, and Cross. But eventually he... Scott realizes he has those little frisbees.
The little discs, and he essentially makes the glass grow out of its case and shatters it.
Yep, and then he punches people and does these
his
shrink grow thing.
Shrink jitsu.
Shrink jitsu, there you
go. So that's happening. Cross gets away with the Yellow Jacket suit.
Yeah, they're escaping. While the heist was going on, they actually had planted explosives on all the Cross serum. Which it's not Pym particles, because Pym didn't make them.
Right.
But he put it all on they're going to explode.
It's the generic brand Pym particles.
Costco brand Pym particles.
Crossco.
Crossco, there it is.
Crossco.
And again, they have to escape. You get that really cool scene of Scott shrunk on the model as they're trying to shoot it with bullets.
Right.
It looks like something from Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, the ground's just like detonating. It's really cool. And then in comes Luis, one-punching people.
And he asks the question, are we the good guys?
He's like, yeah, we are. He's like, that feels weird. So, Scott goes after Cross, and he brings a swarm of ants up to where the helicopter's taking off.
Yeah, so he's bringing Antony and his swarm of ants, which Cross does the natural thing you would do.
You take a gun and try to shoot a whole swarm of ants.
But
This is the worst part of this.
I can't fault him because it worked.
He shot down Antony.
Antony gets... Literally, he fires 8 bullets into a swarm of ants, and one of them just smashes Antony.
Which is so dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh my gosh. So, Scott gets onto the helicopter.
Well, while he's on the helicopter, what's happening to Hank there?
So you know, it's Hope's having like, oh no, like we'll get you out of here, blah blah blah. And Hank's like, I'm not dying today, and neither are you. And he pulls out his keys, and we've seen this all throughout the movie. He has a little tank keychain. And like, oh, maybe it's just from, you know, being back in the war or something. No. Of course, this crazy scientist, which I'm about to have a science breakdown on you.
Alright, I want to hear it.
Alright, so he has a tank keychain, which we learn is actually a full tank that was shrunk down using PEM particles. The science explained in this movie, with no exceptions so far, well, except everywhere, but no explained exception, is that things remain just, like, you cannot get rid of mass.
Yeah, mass cannot be created or destroyed. I learned this in 7th grade science class.
So, the volume changes and the mass is the same. That tank weighs just as much as a fully grown tank. And Hank is carrying it around on a keychain.
Do we want to talk about the science of Civil War yet? Or you want to save that for Civil War?
Where it makes absolutely even less sense?
It makes even less sense?
Yes, we will talk about that during Civil War.
That's going to be a long episode.
Yeah, it will.
Okay.
And that's going to be an episode I'm going to be a little salty about.
So he drives the tank out.
Yeah, you know, because he's just been carrying around like a 2-ton tank on his keychains for like years.
He's got old man strength.
No.
Yes.
So yeah, the tank goes out. Pretty much, this is where the movie starts to go like, what is happening?
Yeah, this is kind of where it goes a little bit off the rails.
The tank comes out with a full keychain attached to it.
Yeah, I do love the fact they kept the keychain just bouncing around there. Scott's in the helicopter with Cross, and we see how crazy Cross is. He's shooting everywhere to kill him. He doesn't care about anyone else around him. It looks like Scott's about to fall out, and as he pulls himself back in the helicopter in less than probably 10 seconds...
Of course, because these suits magically put themselves on, I guess. Cross is in the yellow jacket.
Which I want to point out, the suit was mini.
Right.
So he was able to grow the suit and put it on in about 10 seconds.
I don't know. Well, no, he had that gun.
What gun?
He had that gun that could shrink things, so I'm sure it could grow things.
Sure. Alright, I'll give you that.
Alright.
Where'd the glass go? The
Pin
glass around
particles.
this. Okay. Pin part. No, Crosscow. It's Crosscow. So, and the yellow jacket suit is so cool.
It looks so rad. It has like mechanical arm lasers.
I wish a better villain had been using this suit.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has arm lasers. It's shooting. It kills the pilots. They fall down.
Yeah.
Actually, both of them in a shrunken state get caught in a suitcase. Which is when you get that really cool scene of like this music playing. They're falling in a suitcase.
Yeah. The Cross says, "I'm going to disintegrate you," and Siri says, "Playing disintegration by the Cure." And it's
which I want to point out. Someone proved you cannot yell, "I'll disintegrate you," and Siri will play that, even if it's in your library.
Oh well.
So that's integrity. You gotta knock integrity. Marvel is not following.
Well, it's the Marvel Cinematic Universe Siri.
Oh man, is that different?
It's a different universe.
I like Jarvis.
No,
because like their series advances Jarvis.
No, their series just someone said like, yeah, no, that makes sense to do, I guess. Apple's insane in the MCU.
Apple's actually gonna be the villain of Infinity War. Like all the heroes.
It's not Thanos. Thanos dies within the first 20 minutes.
Like all the heroes are defeated. Thanos thinks he won, and like Steve Jobs comes back from the grave, and just like Thanos trembles.
Steve Jobs is Eternity.
Yeah, he's Eternity.
Oh man.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Man.
As someone who hates Apple, R.I.P.
So that's kind of happening. They land in a pool.
Yeah, and we get some fight scenes, and it like I said, I don't want to describe them, but I do like as he's small, Scott's big, Cross is small. He hits him with a ping pong paddle into a
bug zapper. which is pretty funny. And the most Paul Rudd moment says to the family's yard they're in is just like, "It's okay."
And the parent, they just run away.
So the cops show up and arrest Scott.
Scott's trying to explain, like, "Oh, thank God you're here," and he gets tasered right away.
Yeah, and then Paxton is like, "No, you broke out of jail. We're taking you back." And then they get a call at Paxton's house because Cross wasn't dead.
Yeah, because Cross was just shot a million times.
Yeah, no, he should have absolutely been dead. The suit should have like short circuited.
And then we get into the house where we get the bedroom fight scene, which is just so interesting.
It is interesting. What's creepy is that Cross has just like decided, no, I'm going to hold up his daughter.
He's a sociopath.
Yeah.
Which again would be more menacing if there was some more explanation. I mean, maybe you just say like he's a crazy dude and you just go with it. I don't know.
Yeah. So
I just remember even watching in theaters, I said this villain's not good.
No.
I usually like give the villains benefit of the doubt, and then like a day or two later, be like, oh yeah, they're not that good. But this one was like, as I was watching, I was like, yeah, this guy's not good.
So that starts a huge fight, which is pretty funny. A good portion of it happens on Scott's daughter's train set.
Yeah, they're throwing trains around, and there's a scene where Yellowjack's actually in front of the train, and he's like, ah, and it just knocks over because it's just a Thomas tank.
Yeah, yeah.
We get a giant ant.
Giant ant happens because, you know, giant ant.
We get a giant Thomas the Tank Engine destroying half the house.
Which, I don't know if someone's done it. I haven't seen it yet. Someone needs to make a meme where they just take that clip, and then as Thomas is like coming around the corner to hit Yellow Jacket, just put the Thomas the Tank Engine theme, but like that bass boosted version that blows out your speakers. It's just like coming at you.
You were coming back to finding memes now? We haven't done that in a while.
Yeah, man, that's not a new meme. It's kind of a meme, but there's an application for that existing meme.
This is a very memey movie, I think.
Yeah. I mean, Baskin Robbins always finds out is a good meme.
That's an old meme, though.
It is.
We can't normify our memes.
Oh, no, don't you dare. So, great fight. Paxton comes up, and, like, Yellow Jacket's about to, like, pretty much disintegrate Paxton and Scott's daughter.
And he gets to the back of Yellow Jacket's suit and realizes it's titanium.
Right.
So he has to, naturally, because we got the foreshadowing already,
go subatomic.
So he's going subatomic. He destroys the suit. And it's kind of a gruesome death for Cross.
Yeah, he, like, essentially implodes.
Yeah, he's shrunk inside his own suit and implodes. But that also means that,
Scott is stuck in the quantum realm.
The quantum realm.
Which is cool. Like, we get these particles that are, like, it is very, like Dormammu from,
yeah, it's like, very Doctor Strange.
It's constantly folding in on itself and, like, rippling out. And, it's really interesting. And then eventually it gets to a point where he's just kind of in this, like, void.
I do want to point out he should be suffocating, right?
Oh, yeah. No, there's no oxygen.
He is smaller than an atom, therefore he cannot breathe oxygen anymore. Therefore,
well, maybe if time and space are irrelevant in quantum realm.
Okay, I'll give it to you. Pin particles.
Pin particles. And so his regulator's fried, and he opens up his belt thing, and he has a disc that can make him grow.
A single growth disc left.
So he manages to... he almost loses it, but he manages to put that in his regulator.
And that powers his suit up enough that he can grow back to normal size, which, again, I feel like going from something smaller than an atom to normal size is a bigger jump than going from a human to an ant.
Right.
But, hey, whatever. It's movie magic.
And I guess this is assumingly what creates the idea for Giant Man.
Yeah, I mean, we're led to assume that...
Is he the only superhero who changes his name based on his state?
No, Hawkeye.
Yeah, but Hawkeye doesn't go back to Hawkeye.
Hawkeye.
He goes from Hawkeye to Ronin and stays Ronin. I'm saying this guy's like, no, I'm Ant-Man. Now I'm Giant Man.
I have a Giant Man Funko Pop right there.
It's pretty cool.
It was on sale. You can tell by the way it's like 2 inches taller than everything else.
So Scott's back to normal size. He's meeting, he's happy with his family.
We kind of just wrap up all the loose ends here.
The family kept the giant ant.
Yeah, the last scene in the movie is Scott meeting with his family. He's able to have dinner with them. Kind of things have been patched up. They erase his criminal record. he tells Hank about what he remembers of Summer Tyrone, but he doesn't remember a lot.
Right, and Hank's like, maybe the human consciousness just can't comprehend.
But it also inspires Hank that maybe there is a way.
Yeah, he's like, it's not impossible.
And I said, in one of the best moments of movie editing ever, you see a picture of a young hope of Hank, and then of a woman wearing a hat that covers everything but her chin.
Right, exactly.
So you can make that woman whoever you want it to be.
So then we get Hank, Hope's like, oh, I'll walk you out, Scott. And then Hank goes out the door and just interrupts them kissing. And Scott plays it off the best. He's just like, yeah, I don't know what's going on either. Hope grabbing me and kissing me like that, that's messed up. Yeah, I got somewhere to be. I gotta go. And Hank just yells at him like, full of crap, Scott. He's like, yep, you know it.
But he didn't say crap.
Yeah, he didn't.
But yeah, it's a traditional ending to a movie.
It's a good middle of the road Marvel movie.
Yeah. I guess we need to talk about we missed something.
Oh yeah, so it ends with another one of Louise's great recalls.
Yeah, he's going to a Cubist art exhibition.
I believe he just said like a modern art.
Postmodern, but he's more a Cubist or something like that.
Yeah,
Like Cubism.
I'm more into the Cubism, and then he was with his cousin, who was at a bar with this hot, super fine girl, who went up to the bartender, who was none other than Stanyard Lee.
Stanyard Lee?
Stanyard Lee.
I don't think that's his name.
So, and he's like, you see that super fine girl over there? That's who I'm with. And the bartender's like, oh yeah, she's super fine.
So it's Stan Lee mouthing what Luis is saying.
Which I just want to hear him go like, oh yeah, she's super fine.
Excelsior!
Excelsior!
And there's more of the story going on.
Yeah,
and eventually we find out that the Falcon is trying to. Oh my gosh, we spiked so bad.
Yeah, we did.
Is trying to find the Ant-Man.
Yeah, and I want to see if I can recall this. So, cousin at an art exhibit with Super Hot Lady. Super Hot Lady was also like an expert,
a guerrilla
journalist who had a connection to the Avengers, which turned out to be Hawkeye. Which they said like, oh yeah, we got
Falcon, not Hawkeye.
Falcon. Sorry, birds.
Yeah, bird things.
Just bird things. Just bird bros. Falcon, who was looking for a superhero, and she's like, we got a guy who jumps, we got a guy who swings, we got a guy who climbs walls, and I said, all of those are Spider-Man.
But Spider-Man's on San Francisco.
Yeah, well. Yeah, and so he's like, no, I'm looking for a guy who shrinks. And then it ends with just Louise be like, yeah, and it's kind of like autumn for like a second too long.
Awkward second.
Yeah. And then credits roll, and the Stinger's just showing off the Wasp.
Yeah, Stinger's showing off the Wasp, which I'm excited to see. This is the next
Is it Hope's mom who's the Wasp in this one? It looks it.
I don't know. Like, I'm excited. I don't know.
It's not clear.
I don't know. Yeah, it's not clear. I mean, she could have just got a haircut.
Or let it grow out, I guess.
But it is. I'm very interested in Ant-Man and the Wasp. It's the next movie that comes out after Infinity War. Ant-Man is not in Infinity War.
Really?
He's not in Infinity War. He is confirmed. He is not in Infinity War.
I feel like he would have been beneficial.
He's not involved in Infinity War. He will be involved in Avengers 4. Apparently what has been said is that...
Well, they won't tell the Avengers 4 title because it'll spoil the end of Avengers 3.
Which I think's so baller. What? I'm so glad we did get tickets to opening night because I need to see this.
Did we?
I have them printed. They are hanging on my fridge.
The best. I will pay you.
7:30 at theater.
What day?
Thursday.
Oh.
Thursday 7:30. We're doing it, man.
That's gonna be a late night.
We're not gonna record the podcast that night.
No, God no.
Yeah, but there's no way we're not seeing this opening night.
No, I agree. I mean, we've just committed the last what? When did we start this? March?
I don't know.
No, January.
January. We started this in January.
So we just committed the last 4 months of our life to this.
We're gonna see this opening night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think we deserve that.
Sure.
So let's get into the Shield scale.
The Shield scale. So just for those of you who are joining in for the first time for whatever reason, you should go watch back the backlog. It's great.
Yeah.
We got the scoundrel. How's the villain portrayed in this movie? The hero. So how's Ant-Man, the development of Ant-Man, his powers, all that in there. The integrity of the movie. We're looking at how does the story hold up, as well as how do the effects hold up. Again, the effects are going to be a little harder as we get closer to modern day, but we're going to try our best. The entertainment, how entertaining is this movie? The Lee cameo.
Possibly the most important. of it all.
So how's Stan Lee in this movie? Is he relevant to the plot? Is it at least enjoyable? And finally, the development of the MCU as a whole. So let's start with the scoundrel, Connor. So, Yellow Jacket, what do you think? I should say, it's on a 0 through 5 scale.
Yeah, it's on a 0 through 5. Oh man, dude, like, he's a good bad dude, but I don't know if he's a good big bad for a movie. Like, just for a guy you want to not like, yeah. Like, you don't like him because he's a sociopath and absolutely insane. But, like, you got no reason to care for him.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, he's a generic bad guy.
Yeah. It's kind of like, and we both like this movie, but kind of made the movie a little boring rewatching it.
And I said, like, I wish the suit had still, like, if a more interesting character had gotten the suit. Like, what if Selvig had just gone crazy and now he's Yellow Jacket?
I have more questions than needed answered.
So I think like he's a very below average villain. There's not a ton of backstory besides the connection to Pym. He's crazy, but there's no really explanation of the crazy besides Crossco.
Crossco affecting his brain chemistry.
So, but I do like the Yellow Jacket suit, so I think I'll go 2.25.
Oh man.
Is that too high?
I'm going 1.
You're going 1.
Like, I like the suit, but I'm more basing off the person, and that's just, I don't like it. It's boring. It's boring. Like, the first time I watched this, I was entertained, but the second time watching it, I was bored.
You know, I'm going to drop it down to a 2. You're right. I mean, I'm going to give it because of the suit, the design of it, the idea of it, really cool. The suit's good. So I'm going to give it a little bit more than that.
I'm just going to put that score somewhere else.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, the hero. Yeah, man.
Man, Paul Rudd's always been, I feel like Paul Rudd's always been a side actor, right? Like he's always played a good, like, funny guy who's in the movie, but never the focus of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
This proved that he could be the focus of the movie. He was entertaining. You know, he did the dramatic parts well. I mean, look, it wasn't an Oscar-winning performance, but very few comic book movies are.
We need to watch Logan.
Yeah, we do.
I still argue that Patrick Stewart should have won an Oscar for that movie.
Patrick Stewart, really?
Yes, for Best Supporting Actor.
Man. So I mean, I'll give it a 3.
3?
Yeah.
So a little bit above average.
Yeah, like I liked it, but it didn't like blow me away.
So I'm going to go probably a little lower on this.
Okay.
I think this is a remarkably average superhero.
Yeah.
Besides the fact, I really think his powers are interesting. I think the effects will go in a different category. The idea he can control ants is neat. We learned a lot about ants in this movie, which is great. I'm gonna lump Hank in there just a bit, not a ton, but just a little bit, because he is kind of the mentor, and you get kind of that cool story. I think I'm gonna just go 2.5, right down the middle.
Yeah,
I think it's it's a great performance. I'm glad Paul Rudd's in. I think what you said, he does an okay job as the main focus, but I think, you know, it's not a bad thing to be the good side character.
You're still getting checks, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, Dave Bautista is a great side character.
Oh, he's an amazing side.
He's amazing side. It's okay to be that, you know. We need the role players for the superstars.
Absolutely.
All right, the integrity of this movie. So, can I ask, Reeve, before we get into this, do we include science in this?
I mean, look, here's the thing, right? To have a movie based around a scientific principle, such as density and mass and all that, you gotta have it be believable, right? And so that means you have to explain things in a way that makes it, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense to me. And I'm sure we're overthinking it, and there are like hundreds of thousands of people out there who are like, no, I didn't care enough to really think into that.
Probably millions.
Oh, absolutely. But like, it bugged me. So
bugged.
I think it will affect mine a little bit.
All right. Well, what's your score going to be?
So here's the thing. Like, integrity, it's a good old classic story. That's the good thing about Marvels. A lot of the stories aren't time relevant. They kind of cover it, and I feel like that's good writing. Is they cover a large, like a general enough topic.
It's a big enough issue that you're not going to pigeonhole yourself.
Yeah, there's always going to be people trying to sell the most powerful weapon and be the most powerful guy.
Mm-hmm.
But like the science bugged me because it always kept me thinking, which is good. It always kept me thinking, but it was like, yeah, I feel like this should be happening differently. And I'm not even talking about like his punches should be like knives. I don't care about that. I care more about the like, yeah, he should still weigh as much as a human. like he shouldn't be the weight of an ant. He should be the weight of a human in the size of an ant. So yeah, I mean I want to like I want to give it like a 2.25.
2.25.
Yeah.
Also, I want to correct myself. I earlier in this said mass cannot be created or destroyed. Matter cannot be created
Matter.
or destroyed.
That's right.
That's my fault. I actually do pay attention to science sometimes.
I like science.
Science is neat. Get to blow stuff up. I mean, when I look at the integrity, the storytelling here, it's a very generic origin story.
Oh yeah.
There's not a lot making it unique. Like, the character's unique, but the story behind it's not very unique. We talked a little bit about some effects we didn't like. I think some of the ant effects, which, I mean, it's hard to do a CGI ant there.
Right.
There's some... You talked about the building effect earlier. I think the explosion of... We didn't talk about that, but Pimtech
imploding, yeah.
That's kind of meh. So... But if I look at... I think what I really do like, though, what I think does hold up well, is the growth shrink scenes.
No, that's really cool.
I think that does hold up very well. I love the way they do it. The way you see kind of his outline.
It's super comic book.
It's super comic book, and I think that's a good way of doing it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's a slightly above average movie.
Okay.
I'm debating... So basically, do I like the animation enough to give it a 3, or do I go 2.75 because of some of the things there? I'm going to go 2.75 on there. So I think it is a little bit above average. I think it does some things really well. But at the end of the day, there's just not a lot of... Besides the fact the character's creative, the storytelling is not.
Right.
Entertainment. So when I look at this movie, I mean, it's a fun movie. There's a lot of entertaining scenes. I think the final 40 minutes are really good.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the action and how they use Ant-Man, but I think the way the crew's used and the comedy Louise brings in is amazing. I think the beginning's a little slow because you're kind of going through labs and you're kind of going through Baskin Robbins and all that, but
they always find out.
When I look at entertainment, it's if this movie is on FX. I don't even think I get FX anymore on my cable. If it's on FX, what would need to stop me from watching it? And a 0 would mean like literally the World Series.
You would avoid it.
World Series. If Thor 2's on, the World Series of golf is more interesting.
Thor 2 is our yeah.
Absolutely. Or if I look at like a 5 is like I'm gonna drop what I'm doing to watch it.
Right.
And the way I look at this, if it's on a Thursday night and I'm done my work for the day, I'll throw it on. If it's on like a Saturday in the afternoon, I'm not doing anything, grab some chips and watch it maybe, but I don't think I'm going to say, look at my TVR or my DVR and say, oh, look, Ant-Man's on at 9 o'clock, I need to stop what I'm doing and watch it.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a 3.25.
Okay. I see, like, I don't know, I'm in the boat where it's like, I probably wouldn't, like, if I saw it on tomorrow, I wouldn't watch it. Just because I saw it today.
Yes.
I'd want some.
This is definitely something you need some time to.
Like Guardians 2, the day after we watched it, I'd be like, yeah, I'd watch that tomorrow if it was on TV. Like I wouldn't put it in and watch it, but if I saw it, I'd watch it. But this is definitely like I said, this is a very middle of the road movie. I'm gonna give it like a 2 point. No, I'll give it a 3.
You're gonna give it a 3?
I'll give it a 3 because like Luis is super funny and Paul Rudd does a good job being entertaining. But yeah,
Lee. We'll go to the Leologist over here. I mean,
look, dude, this if they would have totally messed with the flow of the Luis thing just to get Stanyard Lee to say, oh yeah, she's super fine in his voice, this would have gotten a 5.
It would have gotten a 6 probably.
Yeah, I would have blown the shield scale for this because that would have been great to hear Stan Lee say, oh yeah, she's super fine. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it certainly wasn't the worst. It was entertaining. Probably one of the most believable jobs Stan Lee has had.
I mean, yeah, an old bartender at like this random jazz bar.
Yeah, like absolutely.
That sounds like something Stan Lee does on the weekends.
So I'm gonna give it like a 2.5.
I mean, I think that's a very fair score. I think I'll go a little bit higher just because, like, I think I'm getting a little jaded here because we're getting towards the end of this.
Right.
I'm thinking of all the terrible Stan Lee cameos there have been.
I'm gonna hate Infinity War if they blow it on the Lee cameo.
They're gonna blow on the Lee cameo. Lee's not even gonna be on it.
If Lee isn't in Infinity War, we're gonna have some issues. I will write an angry letter to Marvel.
No, you won't.
Try me.
I want a picture of that letter, and we're gonna post it on the Couch Gnomes Facebook.
Okay.
Okay. All right. You've heard it here, people. Hold him accountable on everything.
Dude, I've committed to worse for Couch Notes.
You know what? Actually, a 2.5 is fine. He's just in there for a second. It's fine. It's believable.
It's funny. It's worth a chuckle. Like, Stanley had to say.
It's not memorable. I did not remember.
No, I didn't even know if there was a Lee cameo in this.
Yeah, you did actually ask like an hour in, like, is Stanley in this movie?
Yeah.
So yeah, 2.5. All right. Development of the MCU. So let me just rattle off what I can think of as development of the MCU.
Right, go for it.
We have S.H.I.E.L.D. mentioned. We have the Pym connection to S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yes.
We have Pym particles introduced.
Yes.
We have Hydra still in there.
Yes.
We have Avengers base. We have a fight with Falcon.
Yes.
Am I missing anything?
I mean, Ant-Man in general.
Okay, we introduced Ant-Man and Pym, because Pym is a big character in the Marvel comics.
Yeah, and we get that Pym had a history, which you mentioned.
And we kind of got that the Ant-Man was the second superhero we assume after Captain America in like the 70s. He was not a superhero, but like a covert agent.
Super soldier.
Yeah, I mean, he basically was.
Yeah, he was.
So there's a lot of development there. I think the problem, and maybe this isn't where I would put this score, but I'm gonna lump it in here just cause we kind of have the same issues we've run into in other Marvel movies, storytelling wise. Mm-hmm. Like I said, this is a mash, and this might have fallen into integrity, but I'm gonna put it in here. I mean, the scores are all gonna get where we need to go.
Yeah. I
mean, our scientists will figure it out. They're smart. But it's kind of like a lump of Iron Man 1 and Cap 2 put together. And I just feel like, does that develop the MCU to have the same issue again?
Right.
So, I mean, I think this is... Let me say this statement here, and then maybe this will help my score.
Okay.
You have a person who has never seen an MCU movie.
Right.
And you say, what is, like, this is the baseline to, like, this is going to be the middle of the road movie.
Right.
There's going to be movies better than this, there's going to be movies worse than this.
Oh, yeah, there are.
Is Ant-Man the movie you shows, like, this is, like, if you like this, you're probably going to like the MCU? Or do you go high up? I mean, obviously, like, you want to probably go high up, but it's like, I want middle of the road, like, if you can enjoy this, it's like...
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go sports here, but bear with me here.
Okay.
In football, we have this thing called the Andy Dalton line.
Okay.
Andy Dalton is a quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals.
Right.
And I'm sure our viewers
our listeners are loving
this. So Andy Dalton's a quarterback for Cincinnati Bengals, and basically they've made this thing called the Andy Dalton line, where if your quarterback's better than Andy Dalton, you should keep your quarterback. If your quarterback's worse than Andy Dalton, you need to get a new quarterback because your team's going to suck.
Okay.
And if you have Andy Dalton, you have no idea what to do.
Okay.
Is Ant-Man the Andy Dalton of the MCU?
Yeah, absolutely. It is.
Okay. So I think that answers my development. I think it's a 3. I think it's a little bit above average because I think the MCU is a very good product.
I'll give it 2.75 because like you do bring in a lot, but it's not earth shaking. Like it's not like Pym particles came in and now Thanos is a bigger issue. Like no, it's not like there wasn't an Infinity Stone.
There is no Infinity Stone.
Good. Like, this movie was not Infinity Stone worthy.
No, and that's good. You don't need the Infinity Stones in every single Marvel movie.
Hank Pym is using the Soul Stone to control the ants.
Actually, hold on. Did we just come on to something?
Oh, man, dude. Here's the theory everyone's looking over. They're like, it's in Wakanda. It's in Tony. No! Hank Pym has had it the whole time. Yeah, it's something, man.
Scientists are back.
Don't knock the table.
I keep doing that. It's so easy. So scientists are back. They've calculated the scores, and I'm a little surprised with our numbers. But when you look at the averages, which we're not going to show you because that's for us and our scientists and no one else.
Krabby Patty formula.
Ant-Man finishes above Iron Man 3, but below Thor. Good for 10th on our list so far.
Which so far, I mean, that's going to get bumped down probably, but. That's pretty average.
And I think the one thing you got to keep in mind, I think in general, in general, a sequel will do better than an origin movie.
Yeah.
So I think when we do Ant-Man 2, because I think it allows the story to develop more, you're going to have more connection to the character. There's more there. I think if we do Ant-Man 2, it's going to be higher on our list. Right. But I think when you look, it's lumped in with the origin stories. Because if we look, it's Iron Man, Captain America, then Avengers, Age of Ultron, which we won't talk about, Thor, Ant-Man, the Hulk's a little farther below, but it is kind of lumped in with our origin story. So maybe that part of our list is just the origin list.
Right.
So what do you think about its placement?
I think it's fitting. Like this isn't. I don't even remember really being excited for this movie, and I'm certainly not to bash it, but I'm not like. I wasn't super hyped that we were watching it this week. We had to watch it.
So here's the only thing I will say. Which makes me like look at the numbers. So I'm looking at what's around it. Obviously, every movie below it, I'd rather watch Ant-Man instead of this. But I will say right now, I would rather watch Ant-Man over Thor.
Yeah.
And I would rather watch Ant-Man over Avengers: Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd go above Captain America: The First Avenger. So that's kind of where I thought it was going to be on the list. But hey, our scientists don't lie. At least we don't think so.
I mean, we do lock them up, and they only have 70 servers to work with, so...
70 servers. 70, like... Oh,
1970.
Oh, yeah.
Like
we have 70 of them, too.
Well, yeah.
We have 70 1970 servers. That's why I was confused.
We put more effort into the space of the servers than their quarters, so...
And this podcast, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
All right. I think the budget went.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on our quest to get you caught up for Avengers 8... oh my gosh. Avengers Infinity War. We do not want to get you caught for Avengers Age of Ultron. It's not worth it. This is my weekly groveling to the couch gnomes for their sweet, sweet free YouTube channel.
That free, man.
And free, because you guys definitely pay a lot for that YouTube channel.
Yeah. Oh, big bucks. Yeah, thanks for watching. Keep your eye on the YouTube channel.
Oh, we got a special treat for our listeners here.
We will, when I get to it. So, thanks for watching. Keep your eye on the YouTube channel. We're always doing cool new stuff. Me and Kanai recorded something cool and new this week. It's going to go up whenever. It's a fun one. It's a fun one. I won't give any more hints than that, but it's a fun one.
Is it a game?
It involves a game.
Game for what system? Can we get a system?
PlayStation 4.
All right, that's all we're going to give you.
That's it. We also stream every Friday. Hey, if you check out the stream today, when this is up, Friday, if I remember to upload it in the morning, it's going to be a Chaos Couch. And if you don't know what that means, that's when me and Kanai are unrestricted by Danny.
Wait, I wasn't in on this.
Yeah, Danny's not in town. When the cat's away, the mics are going to freaking party, dude. So that's what
I'll be tuning into that.
Yeah, that's what you're in for. We have a Facebook, we have a Twitter, we have an Instagram, we have all that stuff. Yeah. Oh, and we also have shirts. And where could we get these shirts?
Can I?
Wait.
Shop.spreadshirt.com/couchgnomes.
I have the recording, finally. It will also be in the description, but you can expect that every week from here on out.
Oh my gosh. So one of my favorite podcasts has a drop where the host literally plays something from his phone every week.
Oh, that's ours.
And
that's us.
Yeah, now we've reached that level.
Yeah.
We've made it.
Yeah.
So Connor, next week, or maybe this week we are going to be doubling up one week.
We have to, because Marvel
had to be jerks.
Yeah, and push this movie we've all been waiting for like years.
So either next Friday or maybe earlier, depending on how our schedules look.
Yeah.
Connor, we got to get the Union and the Confederacy together.
Oh,
we're going to fight a 5-year or 4-year long war. It's going to tear this country apart.
Yeah, and then it's going to be a whole thing. Like, people are going to say it was about state rights, and people are going to say it's a war of northern aggression.
And we're going to get Daniel Day-Lewis dressed as Lincoln the whole time.
Yeah, which, I mean, that's pretty cool.
That was okay. And no, we are doing Captain America 3, better known as Captain America Civil War.
Better known as Avengers 2.5 Civil War.
Better known as I'm probably going to fight Connor during this, the way he's been talking about it.
I just have some opinions. It's a good movie. I just have some opinions.
So we're going to get you caught up with that next. We're getting down the home stretch, ladies and gentlemen. I will say, if you have not bought your tickets to Infinity War,
what are you doing?
You need to get on this. I will tell you right now. I tried to buy them 3 weeks ago at the theater we went to see Black Panther with, and where I see most of my movies. It was sold out already. I had to go to the B team.
Do we? Please tell me we're not sitting next to you. Are we sitting next to each other?
We are sitting next to each other.
Oh, I really wanted that what we were talking about during Age of Ultron, where we're just sitting on opposite ends, and then something happens.
You mean Black Panther? Oh no, yeah, okay.
Where you say pretty much Hawkeye's family's gonna die, and I'm just gonna yell from across the theater at you.
Yeah, but we are sitting in essentially the Scarlet Witch of theaters, the B team.
It's still pretty good.
It's okay. So, but anyway, get your tickets now if you have not already. This is your friendly reminder from your favorite podcast.
Yep.
If you want to reach out to us, please reach out to us. Let us know your opinions on this.
Oh.
Is Ant-Man too high? Is Ant-Man too low? Do you agree with our rankings? Anything you want to share, feel free to do that.
To add on to this ridiculously long outro, I do want to say, hey, shout out to Spencer. Spencer, buddy, tune into the streams all the time. That's awesome. Watch this podcast because I know you love them comic book movies. But you clarified the whole helicarrier thing for us.
Oh yeah, let's throw that. We'll just throw that in super quick if you hadn't seen the comment.
Yeah.
Apparently, the helicarrier scene from Avengers: Age of Ultron is explained in Agents of Shield.
And the only reason it's in Age of Ultron is because the Russo brothers, or no,
Josh Whedon didn't like what the Russo brothers did.
What the Russo brothers did.
So there you go.
Yeah, shout out to Spencer for giving us that little tidbit.
All right. Anyway, next week, Civil War. See you later.
Bye. Like a mofo.
And you can keep that in.